Yo, what's poppin'? It's your boy Sammie baby, and right now you're listening to The Biz with D. Keep it locked.
All right, everybody. Right now on The Biz with D, we have Sammie, and Sammie is known best for his hit single, I Like It, which came out in, like, 99, right, Sammie? It was, like, that long ago.
Yeah, I was 12 years old. Yep.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show this evening. We greatly appreciated it. I've been trying for, like, a while now.
Well, I'm glad we got in contact. I appreciate the love and support. Thank you.
Not a problem. So let's talk about the new EP that you have out, Insomnia. How did you come up with the concept for it?
Last year around October month, I just really couldn't sleep. I was literally suffering from insomnia. So during the wee hours of the night, I would get up and go through tracks, and I would have my producer, Troy Taylor, he send me different beats that kind of, I guess, evoke the emotion that I was trying to convey. So it kind of wasn't planned at all. It was just me putting my thoughts on paper and then going into the booth and letting them come to life. And I felt like it was so relatable that it would make for a great piece of body of work. So I did my mixtape, released it on the 4th of September. Well over 500,000 downloads thus far within the 4 or 5 months it's been out. So I'm just happy that the people took heed to it and that they're embracing it such as.
That's what's up. And I mean, this EP is like phenomenal. And I feel like you got a lot of songs that people will relate when it comes to the Insomnia feel. I'm not even pronouncing the word right, but whatever. Like Morning After, which is one of my favorites. Can you kind of tell us about Morning After?
I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, but it's like the morning after a great, sexual encounter with either your companion or your significant other. The song before that, it's kind of like a movie, but the song before that is entitled Intoxicated. It's about just getting tipsy, and getting buzzed on any type of liquor of your preference and just having this amazing night of intimacy, which then leads to the morning after. You waking up and kind of wishing you could replay that whole night you just experienced. So a lot of ladies took heed to that record, and it's definitely a record if you want to set the mood. I would suggest to put on your sex playlist. And shout out to my brother SK for producing that record also. An amazing producer.
Absolutely. And I was just about to ask you, who are some of the producers that you work with on this EP?
I kept it really in-house because I wanted to develop a sound. I wanted all the records to have this dark, gloomy type sound, but also kind of open so it will force the listeners to hear the content. I think we're so trapped in a time where it's all about just a catchy hook and a cool dance, an 808. I wanted to pick production that kind of like just set the mood for something special and different. So shout out to SK, my producer Doughboy, Troy Taylor, Mark the Mogul, Joe, and then my man M. Mills also. So like 6 producers collectively that helped create this amazing project.
So first, I mean, you came out with a music video for Trying to Fall Asleep, but then you came out with a documentary for the EP. Can we kind of talk about the Trying to Fall Asleep music video real quick for the documentary?
Yeah, I was in New York City on a media run doing Vibe, Press, and BET and things of that nature around the project. And just the rawness of New York made me, it was like last minute, it wasn't even a plan. I was just talking to my management and I was like, this is where I would want to shoot the viral for Trying to Fall Asleep. Because it's so raw, it's that moment where you can actually, if you can't fall asleep, just roam the cities and the streets of New York, and it's so beautiful at the same time. So it just shows a guy in the video that can't sleep due to all these things he's thinking of. So he gets up and he just roams New York City in the wee hours of the morning because, he just has so much on his mind. So I think that it definitely came across just as I pictured it in my mind. And shout out to my man Quincy, the director of that visual.
That's what's up. And it was definitely a dope video. I feel like it went right well with the song. And just concept-wise, I think it was hot. So, gotta commend you on that.
Thank you. It came out pretty artsy, and that's kind of what I wanted to do with the virals that we've been doing. After that, we released Dum Dum, the interlude, and then Ambient Night. So I'm actually putting in an official video early April. We'll be releasing it in May, so I'm excited for that for the summer.
Okay. So is that going to be the next thing, or is that just a video that you're kind of throwing out?
It's going to be the first official video because the other three that we've done were just viral, strictly blogs and web, etc. This will be the first one that will actually take it to television. So I'm excited about that because in essence it'll be my first televised video since 2010. Actually, Kiss Me Through the Phone with Soulja Boy.
Right. And do you have a concept for the video yet, or still
Well,
trying to work it out?
Yeah, he's based out in L.A. I pretty much just shot my ideas. I do want it to be grown, be dapper, but very sexy, just because the record is very much so. So I kind of let him, he's creating the treatment as we speak, actually. So I have that back the end of this week.
Okay. That's what's up. So, the documentary for the EP, let's kind of talk about, in case people haven't seen what that documentary consists of.
It's about 50 minutes long, and it's just a bunch of footage that we kept the cameras rolling during that whole time. It was like it was pretty fun because, you know, with the game being so viral these days, I think it's really great to have that avenue and that visual aspect in pocket for the fans to kind of dig deeper in the music. You know, I wanted them to see me putting in the grind. I wanted them to see me getting my hair cut and not shaving and just being rugged, you know, for the 4 months that I was creating that project. So it's just giving them an insight on my career, the things that I've gone through, the ups, the downs, the many obstacles in which created the content of Insomnia. I felt like what better way for them to understand what mind frame of life I was in at that time than to actually let them sit and see it. So it's like 50 minutes. You can YouTube it. Just type in Sammie's Insomnia documentary or go to printsammie.com, either or. And just sit back and relax and enjoy my life.
If you guys are now just tuning in, we are speaking with Sammie about his EP Insomnia, talking about the documentary that he put out before he decided to release it, and just talking about how it shows him the recording process, doing shows, everything. So I got a fan question from you from actually my sister Ebony, who says hello. She's a big fan of yours. And
So I said, what's up?
I sure will. And her question was, I noticed that you're in HTown a lot. Do you love HTown? What is it about HTown? Because it seems like you're always here celebrating your birthday, she said.
Yeah, I'm about to say once a year around this time, well, March actually, I come in. I do a birthday bash there. It's just a beautiful city. I love the Texas women. I think that has a lot to do with why I like to go back, actually. But I just love Houston, man. One of the perks of being an artist is traveling the world, and then there's certain cities that speak to you and just hold a special place in your heart. And I think that very element in which makes me come back every time to Houston. So I just love Houston. It's definitely one of the top 5 cities that I get to travel to. So I guess it's the love, man. And me coming back time and time again, I'm always appreciative of that.
Okay. And she also wanted to know, since you have a song called Goodnight Head, when is that coming out?
I was actually working on an EP at the time. I did a few records for that project. Not sure yet. You know, it's very, very vulgar, you know, and I think we are in a time where you have the freedom to say whatever you want to say. But when we release that record, I want to be strategic about it, doing some Ustreams, so I played it for a few of my fans just to get their opinions, and they seem to love it. So please believe that when we release that record, it'll be a lot of marketing and promo before doing so, because I want the awareness to be out there. But I do believe in that concept, which is why I wrote it. I think it comes a time where men should just please their woman and that be that. You know, it doesn't have to be the full-fledged sexual encounter. Just please her if she's had a long day, or she works hard, or she's been stressed. Maybe allow her to get some rest. You know what I'm saying? I think ladies going to appreciate that angle that I'm coming from.
Right. That's what's up. Now, I've got to ask you, because I noticed that after your successful debut, you decided to take a break from music and to go to school and just focus on graduating. How was that for you during that time? What were you doing primarily?
It was bittersweet because, you know, one thing you can't get back in this great thing we call life is time. I don't care how much money you have or the lack thereof, you can't buy time. So I wanted to just have a sense of normalcy. From the ages of pretty much 11 through 14, I was traveling the world. I was on tours. I was #1 on Billboard. Platinum at 13. These things I'm so grateful for and always like appreciative of my fans and God's grace. But life can change so drastically. I just wanted to be able to play basketball at the park in peace. you know what I'm saying, or play Pop Warner football. I used to play football back in Miami. And those days came to a complete halt when I signed my contract with Capitol Records. And I never wanted to be one of those artists that looked back on my childhood and could never say I got to enjoy that time. So it was kind of rough because the kids in public school would still treat me like Sammie when I was really just an everyday average student. You know, in high school, I played basketball for 2 years. I was in a Renaissance program. I won homecoming team. I was in a choir. I got to do everything that, you know, every other kid got to do. But I think a lot of artists my age that came out with me that didn't, you know, go back for high school and they don't have that sense of normalcy. All they know is lights, camera, and action. And if you kind of look today at where they are mentally, it's kind of sad because they can't relate to anything but fame, anything but the red carpet. Me, if you take me off television, I'm still comfortable in everyday society because I've been there for 4 or 5 years of my life. So that's kind of where it's based upon. I just wanted to be able to be down to earth and be relatable and not get caught up in just the fame because that's not going to be forever. You will not always be the number one guy in this industry. It's not designed this way.
Fan question, and this is from Jaleesa, and she wants to know what is the hardest thing about being a R&B artist in today's industry.
I think the lack of R&B. It's a dying genre, in my opinion. A lot of people that can keep it going and keep it alive, they're doing the pop, the more mainstream world-type music because that's what the money is currently. Radio is hip-hop driven, so it's hard to find your niche and your purpose from a mainstream standpoint as an R&B artist. So I think just finding that happy place to where people want to listen to it because it's substance built, but people also want to play it because it makes them feel good or it makes them want to go to a club and dance or it makes a girl want to feel sexy. So you have to find that balance. With Insomnia being that it was a mixtape, I didn't do too many up-tempos. Like the only record that kind of is beat is Put It In. Which is why we're releasing it this summer. But aside from that, I just gave you ballads. I gave you heartfelt music that will make you feel away. So I think the lack of R&B is the biggest issue because, you know, it's one of those things where you have to either become a rebel, continue and stay true with R&B, or do you convert to what everybody else is doing? And that's something that I've just never been about. I'm all about having a sense of individuality and I'm not afraid to innovate and create something new. So, you know, as long as you can accept that it's very scarce out here in this R&B genre, you're good.
Definitely. You definitely don't want to be like anybody else. You want to set your side apart. And it's a lot, and you do see it a lot that these R&B artists decide that they want to do the pop thing. Some need to do it, and some don't need to do it. And it's one thing that I constantly stress on this show, like, be who you are. Not just because, you want to progress because of the fans and you feel like you need to do because you really need to.
Yeah, I concur. And I think one of the biggest risks you take when you do cross over so fast and so, I guess, left field is that your core audience are now lost. You've abandoned those who, you know, created you. And that's something I never want to do, man. My fans have been down with me since 99 to now. Knows that I've always been a crooner, I've always been a singer, I've always been vulnerable, passionate, and transparent. So I think to deviate from that formula would not only abandon them, but would be a huge disrespect to them. You feel me? Because of the feedback I've received from them, it lets me know that they do appreciate real music. It's just a matter of time before. It's a big circle. It's a cycle. The industry, the executives, the radio begins to support that type of music once again. You know what I'm saying? And I think when they do, the talented ones will survive, and the ones that was just in there for the moment will evaporate.
Definitely. And so, let's talk about being an entrepreneur that you are. And 2009, you joined ventures with your good business partner, Ryan, and you guys came up with Star King Music. You got to talk to us how that all came about?
Well, I've been through major deals, and I've been in an independent situation. Of course, I was signed to Capitol when I first came to the industry. Then I returned with Rowdy, which was still funded by Dallas Austin. Amazing guy, big brother to me, the person that changed my life, but it was an indie situation. And I just felt like and I still feel like this, independent R&B is like equivalent to when rappers used to really sell their CDs out of the trunk of the car. It's that kind of grind. You know what I'm saying? You don't do those huge numbers the first week. You're not gold in 2-3 months. It's not that. So I was like, if I'm going to be in an independent situation and I have to listen to people tell me what to do, tell me how to dress, tell me what songs to sing, I might as well put my own self or start my own company to be in control of my career, control of my sound. So, you know, because one thing about I don't think consumers understand, if a label chooses a record for you and it doesn't work, you don't get a do-over, and they don't take accountability at all for that record not reaching the mark that they thought it would. They just put you on a shelf, put you in a freezer, on to the next artist.
Right.
I kind of don't. I can't stomach that logic. I rather if things don't go the way I want it to, let it be my fault. Let it be because I chose that record, or because I chose to dress like this. You know what I'm saying? So it's just being a boss, man, and taking control of my career and being able to learn. I'm 25 years old. I kind of want to be around 10, 15, 20 years from now. And I think the best way to do it is experience. So it's no better time than to start my own company, sign myself to myself, and then when majors do come in, they have to deal with Star Camp Music because that's who I'm in business with, myself.
Absolutely. And I know that you also have founded a foundation, Sammie Youth Foundation. Can we kind of talk about the foundation too?
Yeah, man, being a recording artist and songwriter and a performer is a blessing, and I want to thank God for that platform to do different things such as Sammie Youth Foundation. We go to inner city schools in Atlanta. This is where I stay now. And just talk to kids about education, the importance of getting involved in extracurricular activities, be it the chess club or be it sports or be it whatever, you know, just to keep them off the streets and keep them out of trouble. And to also just encourage them that, dreams do come true. When you're grown, when you're raised in poverty or a lower class society, all you know is that. It's hard for you to envision something aside from hell or, ruckus. And I try to just give kids encouragement and let them know that anything they put their mind to and they stay dedicated and surround themselves around just a handful of positive people, they can be that. So Sammie Youth Foundation is just another way for me to give back. It's a nonprofit organization, and I want to thank Melissa Mitchell, the head coordinator of that, as well as my publicist, Josh King, for just helping me bring that, to life. It was always a thing of mine to give back to the youth, so it brings my heart great joy every time we get to go to these schools, especially the kids.
That's great that you have a foundation, because there's some people that don't have one that are artists, they need one. And I think especially more so in R&B, like that real R&B artist, I feel like that's a great avenue for R&B artists. And then like the pop artists, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like a certain.
It's like when I'm at these schools, I'm not Sammie the singer. I'm like their peer. I'm like their classmate.
Right.
I'm like the next neighbor. You know what I'm saying? I'm very open. I let them touch me. And I want them to understand I'm real. My chorus teacher taught me something in school that I took with me, of course, to my older years to now, is that I'm an ordinary man blessed to do extraordinary things. And that's the message that I kind of teach the kids, that I'm no different from you all. I'm just very blessed to be in a situation where I can maximize my full potential. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want them to realize, that they can do the same thing.
I got a fan question from I can barely pronounce this. I guess it's Calicia. And Calicia, my bad, Calicia. Calicia wants to know, what kind of girl interests you?
First and foremost, she has to have a spiritual foundation. I'm very in tune with God. I believe in a higher. I also like to be with a girl who's spontaneous and loves to have fun, ambitious, goal-oriented. And then I guess the last element would have to be understanding, because my schedule's kind of hectic. I'm often in and out of town, so I need her to understand that, any time that I do get to spend with her is precious, and the time that I'm away from her doesn't mean that I'm not thinking of her. But if we have those kind of things, I'm very silly, so I like to have fun. If she has those characteristics, or those traits, should I say, I'm good. We can go.
Absolutely. Have you ever been, in a relationship where the woman wasn't understanding of how busy this industry really is?
Oh, yeah. because I've never really dated a celebrity. I've had some encounters, but I've never dated seriously a celeb. But I date the 9-to-5 workers or a college student. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough when you're on tour for 2-3 months and they're doing their studies, and then they want to get some time. It's hard, more so for them. You understand your life because it's my life, but they don't until they're actually invested. I think emotionally. So once the emotions kick in, it's definitely an obstacle. But I feel like every day, if it's worth it, it's worth the fight and a compromise. So it just comes with time and sticking it out and trying to work things through.
Okay. And that brings me to my next question. So with the relationship, when you're in one, are you very open about it when it comes to the public, or are you more so private about it?
Prior to like a year and a half ago, I was very, very private about it until the social networks came into play. And to be honest, like, it's just a day and time where fans rather know the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was the time where they coach you to always say, oh, yeah, I'm single. Because females want to have that fantasy of always having the opportunity to be that girl. I think it's fair to say, just even using Chris Brown and Rihanna, or Chris Brown and, I can never pronounce her name, Karachi relationship, they like to know, you know what I'm saying, for some reason. Some love it, some hate it, but I think they can appreciate transparency. And especially me being 25, it's not the end of the world if I do date or have a girlfriend. It's kind of like I'm expected to do so at this age. It kind of would be kind of wrong or weird if I did it. You understand what I'm saying? So now I can be a little more open about it, but I remain as private as possible because it seems to work smoothly when people doesn't know everything about you and your business. And it keeps some mystique as a celebrity also.
Now, you've collaborated with some big artists like Jazzy Faye, Sean Paul from Youngblood, Trey Songz. I mean, the list goes on and on. But who are some of your favorite artists that you enjoyed? Let me say it again. Who are some of your favorite artists that you enjoyed collabing with?
Every time I work with Trey, it's been cool because he's just so humble and so real and silly. I think a lot of people think that Trey is real, like, serious. He doesn't take himself like that. He's a goofball, and you can appreciate that because, that makes for great energy to create and to be around, just to be around. So every time me and Trey do something for his mixtape with mine, it's always been love. Working with Brian Michael Cox fresh out of high school was a dream come true because I'm a big Usher fan. Anybody who studies Usher understands how essential B. Cox was, especially to professionals. So I couldn't believe that I was working with Brian Michael Cox fresh out of high school. And I'll never forget, like, I write all my music, but at that time I still was developing, so I would ask his opinion, and he'd be like, oh, man, I love it. That's it. Do it. Go in the booth. I'm like, what? Like, you're Brian. You're supposed to tell me that. So to work with B. Cox was crazy. Who else? Soulja Boy, me and him did a great record together. It made it top 3 on the top 100 in the country. So, I've had my success with the collab, and I'm just thankful, man, to use these features to actually enhance the record. I think now a lot of people get on records and they really don't make a lot of noise like they used to. So I'm happy to be a part of collab that really meant something.
Right. And who are some artists that you would like to collaborate with in the future?
A dream come true would be Stevie Wonder if he ever played the keys, and I was blessed to sing over his production. He's just amazing, man. It's hard to even put into words how much I fancy and respect his art. But that would be a dream come true. Usher, of course, that's like who I idolize myself. Or he's an idol of mine, should I say, just because he defines the blueprint of evolving from a child star to the grown man that he is today. It's not easy to grow up in the public eye and be taken seriously. And he kind of seems to have done it effortlessly. So Usher and Stevie Wonder would be a dream come true, to be honest.
I think that'd be a dope collaboration if it was all 3 of y'all, as a matter of fact. On one track, I think that'd be
that would be
solid.
I'm afraid to the music god tonight about that.
I'm going to do the exact same thing.
I appreciate it. We need some divine intervention of some sort.
Not a problem. And what are some of your favorite songs by them?
Stevie Wonder, Mastery of More. His album, Conversation Piece, to me is one of my favorite Stevie Wonder projects. And Confessions, again, it takes me right back to 2004. I remember being a junior in high school, mimicking the falsettos and trying to get my voice up to par before I returned back to the industry. So I think my favorite record is You Got It Bad by Usher. I think it was a perfect time in his career to be vulnerable such as that when he was dating Chili and kind of welcomed us into his life. So those are some of the records that stick out to me. Not to mention, back to My Sure You're More, I got my first deal doing the rendition of my version on the Apollo. So that's always a special to me.
Right. And you were on Apollo now. I forgot that